gentlemen, welcome to another new edition of Africa Today, where we get you the latest news and events taking place on the African scene. And we will start off with our major reports. Libya's state oil firm has restricted kerosene supplies to the east of the country. We have more details in the following report. Welcome back, and we're joined over the phone by Dr. Sharif Amir, political analyst. Good afternoon, Dr. Sharif.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Sharif, on the current visit by Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry to Sudan, this visit for talks on with Sudanese officials as part of efforts to promote Egyptian-Sudanese relations after Sudan's success in moving ahead with its transitional phase and the formation of a new government. Would you tell us more about this visit and its significance?
Well, these kind of visits are not new. The coordination between Egypt and its brothers in Sudan is historical. We have always been in connection, historical and contemporary connection with Sudan. The Foreign Minister, Mr. Sameh Shoukry, is making a huge effort, not only for that Egypt is the president of the African Union, but he, as the head of the diplomacy in Egypt, is making the effort to show our brothers in Sudan, in Ethiopia, in Libya, in Algeria, and everywhere that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is keen to follow all the developments in this region. And as you just said, the success of the people of Sudan to go ahead with the stability. I think this is a show of fraternity, brotherhood, a show of support from the big brother, which is Egypt, that we are there for them. We will help all the factions, and we said it from the first day, that whatever the Sudanese people would decide, we are there to support them, to help them to go over and to come to the brotherhood of this African Union again as a strong state. So I think this visit shows the support, shows the importance of the bilateral relations between both countries. President Sisi was very clear since the start of the uprising and the revolution of the people of Sudan that Egypt is following, and we have all the doors open for all the factions to come to Cairo to talk, to negotiate, to ask for our advice. And we have this bond with all the factions, whether the military council or the political factions in Sudan. They know the importance of Egypt. There's unfortunately some outside countries who are trying to undermine Egypt's efforts. Well, they will never succeed, because these bonds are, first of all, these are historical bonds between the two nations. The second point is that we have a leadership now, the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who understands very well the importance of Africa. And we have, unfortunately, neglected this for decades. But now it's a new era in Egypt, a new generation, as the president. And he knows very well that Egypt's strategic relations with Africa is a cornerstone of its international and regional diplomacy.
Right. Well, sir, do you think that Egypt and Sudan can cooperate further to coordinate stances on regional issues of mutual concern and also international issues, of course, specifically after the changes that took place in Sudan?
Of course, because Sudan has an important place in Africa, important place in the Arab world. It's a country, it has common borders with Libya. We all know what took place in Libya and how the conflict there is very complicated. We worked with the Sudanese before on the Libyan conflict. I think that now things will be better again because the forces who are present in the radical forces who are present in Libya now, like Daesh and the other terrorist movements, are now not being helped anymore by the former system in Sudan. Now there is a new system, there is a new era, and I think that we share with them the same goals, that we have to fight together terrorism, that terrorism in Libya is very dangerous for both countries, Egypt and Sudan. There is another point also, is the state of South Sudan. The relations were very, very tension between both countries, between North and South Sudan, Khartoum and Juba. And then Egypt made all its efforts, and President Sisi met several times with the leadership of South Sudan to make them understand that we want to live in harmony and that Sudan would not be divided maybe politically, but after all the bond is one. We have the same river, we have the same land, we share common history. So I think now things will be clear, that South Sudan will understand that there is an offer for a friendship and brotherhood with Egypt and Sudan, North Sudan. Egypt is the mediator also in this kind of conflict. So this is what's important for the common issues. There is, of course, the third point, and it's the Nile and the problem we had with Ethiopia. And I don't call it problem because, well, and let's say that as President Sisi made all his efforts to strengthen the relationship with the leadership in Addis Ababa, he was very clear that there is no conflict with Ethiopia. There is no problem with them. We have only concerns for our share of the water, and they understood the message of Egypt, that we want just to be sure that things are going all right. We're not against the development of any country, and there is a trilateral committee between Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia. We are always negotiating in very, very calm and very, very diplomatic and in an environment of fraternity. So it's very positive. So I think that this kind of relationship with the new administration in Sudan, I think things will get better also, because we will speak frankly with our brothers in Ethiopia. We will discuss how the share of the water will be divided between Egypt and Sudan. So all these issues, I'm very optimistic, and the visit of our foreign minister is very positive, because it comes in a time where now things are really changing in Sudan, and every time and then when there is an Egyptian official present in Khartoum, it's a strong sign that we are there. Whatever happens, whatever you decide, the people of Sudan, whatever you decide, we support you, we are there for you, but we are working for stability and security.
Right. Well, sir, if we move on to the economic level, Egypt had recently contributed in many projects in Sudan, especially in the field of electricity. How do you view the Egyptian-Sudanese economic ties, and how can we further boost these ties?
Well, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, when he became president of the African Union, we all remember that he started offering to our brothers in Africa the new economic plans that he had in a vision for the continent. And we started this with Sudan. We started this with Sudan in the agricultural level, in the electricity industry. We started exchanging with them students. I think that now there will be more opportunity for both countries to strengthen these kinds of relations, as there is numerous factions present on the political scene there in Sudan. There is the one-man show doesn't exist anymore there. So I think that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has a vision for that. He has a plan for that. I'm sure that our brothers in Sudan would welcome Egypt's investments in there. Even the brothers in the Arab country, whether Saudi Arabia or the Emirates, offered a generous aid to Sudan. So I think that everything is set for this kind of cooperation. It's not new, but things were slowly at a certain time at the Bashir era, but now things will get more faster, and this is very positive, because when you have a leadership in Egypt like President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, has a vision and energetic, we all know that he works according to a timetable. So I think that things will go faster, will be exact, and the cooperation will be very, very helpful for us, because we have all the bases present. We have just only need to make it real on the ground. Investors should go there, start making some businesses there, and I think we will have, and the people of Sudan are very clever in commerce also. So I think that things will be better for both people in the coming future.
Right. Well, sir, do you think that Egypt and Sudan stand on the same ground when it comes to the regional crises?
Yes. We have seen now that Sudan has numerous opinions there being voiced. There is no one voice now. There are several positions on several issues. But what is very positive for me is that I see that everyone is keen to fight terrorism. Is keen to strengthen the relation with Egypt. So these 2 points are very important for us. That let's say the efforts were made by some foreign countries to hinder the relations with Egypt, to make them get away from the bond that ties them with Egypt, failed. And the people of Sudan, after all these troubles, they understand that Egypt is the country which shares the strategic views with them, which does not wish to exploit or to use them. We want to strengthen the relations with them. We see in the streets here in Egypt the people of Sudan living normally with all the Egyptians in harmony, whether they're from South Sudan or North Sudan. They live with all the Egyptians in all harmony. They're welcome. They are in the second country. So I think that it's normal when we get to the political and geopolitical situations. We have common views, of course. We have common concerns. Terrorism, which hits Egypt, hits Sudan, or Sudan also now. So I think that we have to be aware that there are some forces who do not wish to see this alliance. But I'm very optimistic, because President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he was a man of security also. He knows very well that the strategic relationship with Sudan will help us to overcome the problems in Libya, to overcome problems with the Nile sharing water. We are two sides, two countries, two sovereign countries, but we have the same spirit, the same vision, and this is very positive.
Right, Dr. Sharif Amir, political analyst, many thanks for your insight. Always a pleasure having you, sir. And dear viewers, now we move back to our special reports, and our report on Libya. State oil firm has restricted kerosene supplies to the east of the country. We have more details in the following report.
Libya's state oil firm has restricted kerosene supplies to areas controlled by Eastern Commander Khalifa Haftar in what diplomats and oil officials said was an attempt to prevent his troops using them in their 5-month-old battle to take the capital. The company said it took no side in the conflict and there was more than enough fuel in the east for civilian purposes. The reduction in volume sent east in August was the reversal by state oil firm NOC, which works with internationally backed authorities based in the capital Tripoli and also has to cooperate with Haftar's forces as they control major oil fields. The NOC views itself as outside the almost decade-long struggle for control of the country, and NOC data for the previous 3 months showed it has sharply increased supplies of kerosene to the east in response to demand. The NOC data showed that kerosene supplies to airport warehouses in central and eastern areas, which an NOC official said were controlled by the LNA, fell to around 5.25 million liters in August. The monthly figure has risen to between 7.3 million liters and 8.8 million in the previous 3 months, more than double the amount recorded for January and February.
And dear viewers, moving on to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's government has announced a date for Robert Mugabe's funeral amid a row over where the former president will be buried. Details.
Robert Mugabe, the former guerrilla hero turned despot who ruled Zimbabwe for 37 years until the military forced him out, has died aged 95. First heralded as the liberator who rid the former British colony, Rhodesia, of white minority rule, Mugabe used repression and fear to govern until he was finally ousted by his previously loyal generals in November 2017. President Emerson Mnangagwa said his predecessor had been declared a national hero and that Zimbabwe would mourn him until the burial. Mugabe passed away in Singapore, where he had been hospitalized in April. He had been battling ill health, and after a humiliating fall from office, his salmiya speeded away rapidly. Martin Abugao, Mugabe's nephew, said the former president died of old age, surrounded by family. He said the president was likely to announce when the body would move sometime next week, adding that he could give no further details on the state funeral. In Zuvimba, Mugabe's rural hometown, another nephew, Leo Mugabe, told reporters the family had not yet deliberated on where he is going to be buried.
Welcome back. People who survive Ebola virus infection face dramatically higher risk of dying, probably for severe kidney damage within a year of leaving hospital, according to a study of survivors of an epidemic in Guinea. We have the story.
People who survive Ebola virus infection face a dramatically higher risk of dying, probably from severe kidney damage, within a year of leaving hospital. Researchers who followed more than 1,100 survivors of the Ebola virus outbreak, which swept through West Africa and the world's largest epidemic from 2013 to 2016, found their mortality rates a year after discharge from hospital were up to 5 times higher than expected in general Guinean population. The study found that death rates were higher among those who were in hospital for longer, suggesting that patients who had more severe cases of Ebola may have yet higher post-disease risks. The findings show an urgent need for more investigation of the long-term effects of Ebola infection. A continuing outbreak of Ebola in Democratic Republic of Congo has become the world's second largest in history since it began in August 2018. It has spread to infect almost 3,000 people in Congo so far, killing 2/3 of them. The 2013-2016 Ebola outbreak in West Africa was the largest and deadliest ever, killing more than 11,300 people of the 28,000 who were infected.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and with that we wrap up this edition of Africa Today. Many thanks for watching and stay tuned for more coming up here on Nile TV International.